Yeah, when I heard him say I've got an appointment in 10 minutes, I was annoyed. I thought, what?
Yeah.
Arr.
You
Yeah.
told
What are you
time.
doing? I told you about this meeting. I told you how many people were going to be there. We maxed it out. I couldn't add any more people.
What what are the parameters for live stream in terms of number of people?
In the studio, I can have 15 people. But on the screen, I can only have 10.
Well, what if you want more people than 15?
That's where you go to the webinar function where you can have
1,000.
1,000 people. Yeah, 1,000 people can come, but they just simply can't put their face on the screen because they're not in the studio. They're on the front end.
Okay.
It's
Well, if you-
very different. They're very different from Zoom in that respect, or most of the other ones, where there's the meeting. Think of it as like a small meeting software with the capacity to broadcast out to unlimited.
Well, the problem is they don't have. They're not. There's nothing in between. What if you want people, 20 or 30 people on the screen?
Yeah, well, then what you do is that you've got classes of people.
What do you do
People
then?
people who can come into the studio, and then the people that can view from the front end without connecting their camera and microphone. They can chat.
Yeah, yeah, chat by typing in. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
So that is a limitation.
it is, definitely is.
Yeah.
Because it is certainly
But
nice
it's not.
to see faces.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking for something that will replace our link because yeah, we're having nothing but problems. Even on yesterday's call with Alberta Rising, we had nothing but some people couldn't unmute. Just crazy.
Yeah. Doug was saying, I met with Doug yesterday and he said the same thing.
Yeah.
It would be worth it to talk to Corey. Do you still have his information?
Corey's information,
Yeah.
his contact information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because he has a bunch of softwares because he's actually quite instrumental in helping different communities get going with their meetings. And there's a Wednesday night call that's why he doesn't come very often to Next Gen Merchants, is because he's managing a call with a community that meets. I can't remember what it's called, but it's to do with the Constitution, looking for remedy, but it's Canada wide. And so he hosts that call with meeting software, and I know that they've been enjoying the software that he picked.
Actually, you know what? I don't have his email address.
Oh, maybe just ping him in Telegram. He's super responsive.
Okay.
Way more responsive than me. I sometimes don't get to things for a day.
No, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you hear from Ben last night?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Everything's good to go. Initiated.
Good. Excellent.
I am looking for where.
Hey, listen, you're not anywhere near as bad as some people I know in terms of responding time
yeah.
response. Yeah.
No, I just like you.
Yeah. Yeah. You're such a sweetheart.
I just couldn't resist. That was a perfect. It's perfect setup for me.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
Kind of sounds like you've got a chest cold or something, eh?
Yep, I've got a cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Send it back. Return to sender.
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, I haven't had a cold like this for years. So, I mean, not that this is a bad one. This is actually relatively mild. I'm
Yeah.
able to function. There's no head oppression or anything like that. But so
Yeah.
it's just in my chest.
Oh yeah.
I can normally feel my colds coming on.
Hmm.
But anyhow,
When you have that happen, do you have like a remedy that you use to lower the symptoms down to a day or anything like that? If you can catch it fast enough, type thing.
no. I mean, if I haven't taken it for a while, but if I take anything at CDS,
Got it.
Chlorine dioxide? No.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
but I haven't taken it for a while, and so I just my general approach has always been to just let things run their course.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a reason why the body does that. It's because it's releasing toxins.
Yeah, and it's also it builds up the antibodies and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We're going to go through some of the crypto events that occurred here this week. This specific post is showing the past 24 hours. Bitcoin reclaims 70,000, trading near 70,500 after a volatile 2-week slide. US spot Bitcoin ETFs flip to inflows with 15.1 million. So it was outflowing before. So now there's inflow, meaning people are buying. They're being purchased now. 15.1 million on February 14th alone, led by Fidelity's FBTC at 12 million. Whales accumulate 53,000 Bitcoin, worth $3.7 billion during the dip, marking the largest whale buying wave since November. They know what they're doing.
What are they doing?
Dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, but okay. So here's a question I have, and if I may interrupt the
Yeah,
process
please.
here.
Yeah.
Are they buying Bitcoin to control it to the point of, okay, we're done with that. We're going to shut it down and translate it, flip it into whatever, US dollars or whatever.
Good question. Typically speaking, that's what people are wanting to do. They're investing because they have an exit strategy. Well, here's November. That was B. So here's now. If this is the largest pile that they've accumulated since November, they are simply knowing that it's going up and they're adding to the position, increasing the size of their bag exponentially because it's cheaper now. Back in November, it was sitting at now around 90,000. Right now it's 66. So they're getting it 25% off. They're probably increasing that. Oh, of course they're increasing it. Because they want that dollar cost average as close to here as possible.
Okay.
And, whether it's a mark of manipulation or not, it's hard to say. There are a lot of people in crypto that have been around in crypto for a while. They know how this works. They know where this is going. I wouldn't say that the majority of those whales would be people who are looking to manipulate it, but they are certainly looking to profit.
Good.
Good question. I'll bring back the news here. Okay. Steak and Shake announces Bitcoin bonus program for hourly employees. So I don't know what Steak and Shake is, but it must be like a diner or something like that. And they're using Bitcoin as a bonus. Hey, thanks so much for helping us profit. Here's some Bitcoin for hourly employees starting March 1st, paying 21 cents per hour. What does that equate to? Because they're probably because it's a bonus, right? So they're getting their dollars. But when that goes up, and say 200,000 is a conservative mark. Oh, my screen's not sharing again. I'm gonna have to obviously create a switcher between the two. All right, so right now they're getting paid 21 cents. That's going to be 42 cents an hour when it's around that $200,000 mark. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Oh no, that's three times, because it's 100% is 2. So 200% is 3 times. So that'll be 60 some cents. That's a nice little bonus, eh? If you got paid an extra 60 cents, and if you're working at a diner and you're getting paid 60 cents an hour more, that's not a bad deal. I mean, for the job sector. I like to see more integration, right? So there's more people adopting it. That's really what we're wanting. We just want to see more adoption. Altcoin updates. Crypto prices surge despite US partial government shutdown as Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana all post daily gains. XRP jumps 8% after Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse joins the CFTC Innovation Advisory Committee. Oh, good for him. Let's just get more banking people in there. Solana sees 755% year-over-year payments growth with volume exceeding 1.8 billion, though Solana price lags still near $87, and that's something else. It was $250 2 years ago. Truth Social files for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Kronos ETFs with staking features, partnering with Crypto.com. Truth Social.
Who's Truth Social?
That's Trump's social media platform.
Good.
Yep. CFTC forms new innovation advisory committee featuring crypto executives from Coinbase, Ripple, and Solana. Yay! Isn't it amazing how, when it comes to the CFTC, that for 7 years, Input Output, the company that built the largest DAO in the world, Cardano, they campaigned constantly to see regulation come through and offering solutions to help nations have regulatory compliance internationally, simultaneously protecting the people's wealth. And they were refused access every single time. Denied. Charles Hoskinson even presented in front of Congress many times. Now the CFTC forms a new innovation advisory committee, as if it was innovative to get involved with cryptos all of a sudden, featuring crypto executives from Coinbase, Ripple, and Solana. I smell trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Well, a lot of people really like Solana because of its portability. It's very portable. It's based off of Ethereum, the same programming language. They use they use the same ERC20 protocols. The difference is that they're on their own chain and they don't charge $25 for a $5 transaction.
Yeah.
They're very, very cheap. A lot of people like using Solana because of the ability people can get quickly up and running making NFT projects. In fact, Solana is expected to be one of the larger NFT markets.
So how's that supposed to spell trouble?
Well, if they are getting now, if all of a sudden the CFTC is willing to work with them, that is likely not to be of integrity. because Integrity would have done something about it back when Input Output presented to Congress like 7 years ago,
Sure.
saying that this would be a good idea. But because mathematically it was a good idea, the government wouldn't have allowed such a good thing to happen to the FTC. So Coinbase, obviously, that's a BlackRock-owned company. Ripple, obviously, that's a banker's solution to interbranch transfers worldwide. And then Solana, the distributed chain, yay! Now we've got the decentralized networks coming on board. It just smells trouble to me. It's like, Solana, what are you doing? Why are you the ones to get the thumbs up when you are an inferior product? Oh, right. Yes, they gotta have control. This is where the control is. The whales, I don't think they have nearly as much control as the people who form the FTC, the CFTC. Because their job, the CTFC's job, is to make sure that they maintain control over the currency. It's just like what Rothschild said back in the 1500s. I care not the governments of the nations. I only care about controlling the currency.
Yep.
They want people to flourish. They want people to have abundance. Why do you think Britain brought communism to Hong Kong? It's because they wanted to see more flourishment, and Hong Kong became almost a jurisdiction of its own. And very, very profitable, very abundant. It was a very prosperous time for especially entrepreneurs. But now, of course, it's completely co-opted and taxes are super high. Why? Because they stole the productivity of the people. That's their job. Their job is to steal the productivity of the people. And so now Coinbase, Ripple, and Solana are helping. Of course, opinion only. Ethereum trades near $2,000.83 after bouncing from lows, up 5.5% in 24 hours alongside the broader market recovery. And then US CPI inflation drops to 2.4% from 2.7%, boosting risk on sentiment for crypto. And some of the comments are good. Whales are voting with their wallets again. Whales know a discount when they see one. Whales buying 3.7 billion, says conviction over noise. And I agree. Next, let's go ahead and just zoom in on these charts here to see some of the action. There's that again. Bitcoin dominance. Yeah, we chatted about this last night as well. Still consolidating, but ever more encroaching its way downwards towards this 58% level. That's a significant low. If it goes lower, we'll likely see a breakdown, and the next support we'll witness is probably going to be around 57%. As long as that goes down, we will see growth in. We will be seeing growth in alts. Let's go. I'll do the traditional markets afterwards. Ethereum, here's that low now, 1930. Bouncing. That drop has created some bouncing effect here. See some consolidation already forming. With the lows getting lower, or the highs rather, getting lower. And descending wedge pattern. Next, let's go ahead and look at ADA. actually has a different pattern than Ethereum, creating a nice high here at the 30-cent level. Going to see what happens, whether or not it can maintain this support here. My position would be at this point here. My position, yeah, simply because of this. This here looks like a banker's candle, but it's really just because it's crypto. You can have a little bit more volatility. So this low, and then this low here being higher, is a indication, not necessarily a confirmation, but indication of a reversal. This high not quite beating out the previous high. It would have been nice to see this test push a little bit above for us to have more confidence in a bullish period. So the fact that it just touched that and didn't come up to meet it at least tells me that we could be in for some lows, for some more lows. What does that look like? Well, the next support, I have to redo my lines here. Let's go to the daily chart. The next low, yeah, really, we're there already. We're at C. This is on the weekly chart. If we go back out. So if we go down lower, we're probably going to see 18 cents. Yeesh. That's getting low. But what does that mean? Back the truck up, buy some more, because recovery is where most of the money is made. That's a 17x to the all-time high. Do as the whales do. But this is a pretty critical point here. What I would do if I was doing a short-term trade, zooming in on the 4-hour chart, we can see where we're at right now. On our way down, similar to the movement that we had here, on this way down, I wouldn't be selling now. I would be selling here. I would be pushing I would actually start selling here, 28, 29 cents. If it were to, and just be there for if it comes back up. Right now, we're getting close to this support line. So it's a little risky. Let's just move that down there. It's a little risky to go after a support line with very little room like this. It's better to delete the lines you don't need on the chart. It's better to wait. It's better to catch that larger movement. This is a little risky. It's too short. So what I would do is that I would say to position the trade just below that previous high so you can catch it if it comes back up. Now you've got a nicer distance all the way down to that support. And it's less risky when you're looking at 13% probably within a week. You know?
Can you show what you based your 18 cents off of again?
Yep. I'm basing that off of, we zooming out to the weekly chart, the C that is currently market structure. Is that what it is? Let's see. Low, 21 cents. Did we actually hit that already? No, look at that. That low is 22. This low is 22 cents. That C is 21.
Wow, eh?
Yep. So narrow margin there. So the next market structure is going to be this high over here.
Huh.
Likely to see some support in this area. Well, there's 16. Yep. This right there, that little pinpoint there, is sitting at 18.3 at the high. So this is the next pivot zone that we can expect to test, simply because we're in this trend. Now, we do have C, that weekly C is providing some major support. So we won't get confirmation of us getting down here unless we go below this line. That red line is going to be the big one, I think. Because that's where, we had the dips, but you can see where that pivot point was there and there. And if we go back in time, it's a little bit archaic data back here in 2018. But there you have, yeah, I would say that this would be the support line. So if we get below that red support line and retest it, I would definitely say we are headed downwards. So from here down to that support, you know, it is 10, 11%. But the thing is that this might be like, this is an indication of a reversal simply because we didn't create another low. We created low, low. This one here did not go down as low. And so now that might be a consolidation. We can see that this high did not beat out the previous high. So technically consolidation, and in consolidation, I very seldom encourage trades to be taken unless it's in line with the trend. So because overall trend right now is ABC and we're waiting to see where D takes us, here is where I would be placing a pending trade. So not now, but into the future. If the price comes back, we call that a sell limit. If it gets to this limit, sell. And that's where you'll catch a much larger movement. The risk for this isn't worth it to me because this might be the low right here. So that's what I would do if people were looking for a short-term gain. You could do this with $50 and just test it out. And if it works, great, you made 16%. That's the principle. Don't try to chase the dollar amount. Chase the percentages. Because if you can master this and get those percentages, then you can actually do it with larger sums because you've got some more experience. Me, I'm more so of the long term. It's stressful to look at the screen all the time for me. Going back, let's go check out silver and gold. Still seeing consolidation in silver. In fact, I would say, you know, this volatility that we saw, we talked about that there last week, just how much manipulation this was. Or was that Monday? That manipulation was just outrageous. Like, I would, if I remember correctly, it's like 100 million ounces worth of physical silver is now what the COMEX is short. They do not have the physical silver to fulfill their orders. Because it was stolen. That's what that Dario, you know what, I'll throw that Dario article back into the Next Gen Merchants. Ian, if you wanted to check that out. It's probably about a 10-15 minute read. But yeah, they're caught red-handed stealing physical silver from the COMEX.
Who did the stealing?
The banks, like all the JP Morgans and all them. Yeah, because it was because they, you know, they saw what they. It was that. Yeah, it's a scam. It's a scam. Going back to silver here, I'll just show you where they bought. We were tracking that trade even. They bought in this area here before it reached that $100 mark. Or they didn't buy, sorry. They opened the short. And it worked against them. And they didn't care because they had that $10 million a day of liquidity being injected. So then when they sold the futures off, then they were able to take in their profits. But they didn't take in their profits to make money. What they did was that they drove the price down so they could buy physical silver. But they used the money from the futures sales to buy it. And now the COMEX, I don't know exactly how it is that the COMEX would fulfill the order, but that's what happened. And now, of course, the banks have stolen the money. So I'm going to just grab that article. All right, there's the article. Throw it up in the Telegram right now.
Thank you. By the way, I posted that Royal Bank of Turtle Island link.
Yeah, I saw that. Pull that up afterwards. Chat about that for a bit. See what that's all about. Okay, let's go on to gold. Gold also consolidating, rising wedge pattern right now. I would say that this is our trajectory here. Oops. Again, this volatility, we have to be forgiving of these wicks because of the volatility. So as we can see, there's our basic pattern. There is a very, very short-term trend occurring on the 4-hour chart where the lows are getting the highs, both highs and lows are getting lower. But I don't really see that as a trend simply because this will provide a lot more of a trend for its longer time frame. Also, we have this longer time frame here as well. But if the metals orders do not get fulfilled, you can bet your boots we will not be coming to revisit this line. Gold silver ratio hovering still ever since we had that last drop. That manipulation has made it where it's now operating around that 63 ounces per ounce of gold. Still though, take into consideration the fact that in April was the high when it was 107. Less than 1%. Silver was less than 1% the price of gold. That's a 40% drop in the value of gold against silver. 40% gold is 40% cheaper now than it was in April of last year.
Compared to silver.
Yes, and since the fiat currencies are all fake, I trust this chart more.
Of course.
But of course, yes, from a dollar's perspective, of course, gold has gone up. US 30, still consolidating after reaching that all-time high there on the 10th. Bouncing back and forth. Definitely finding some major support in this zone here. See where that takes us as we go on. Next time we actually get some price action, I'll update this because gold and silver both are really just consolidating, and so I'm just calling it 10 ounces still. And if you look at the math, 49.2 divided by 49.8, we're essentially just above 10.
Huh.
Yeah, that's about it for that. On the meme coin side of things, we've actually been seeing some more life come out of SPX. Same thing with NPC. These meme coins are actually showing over with this 4-hour chart. That's my disclaimer. The 4-hour chart shows the meme coins are outperforming the rest of the altcoins simply because they're creating higher highs and higher lows. And I do expect these guys to take off first. Now, I gotta say, it could very well be, if I take, who knows? We gotta be mindful that the onset of war makes things go stagnant. So what's going to happen? We don't know. And so the world doesn't know what's going to happen either. And so they get tentative. And so typically speaking, we will see consolidation right before the announcement of whether or not there's war.
So are you saying the fear factor goes up?
Yeah, it can. Fear, though, starts to push things downwards. So it's more so just a tentative. What do? We don't know. So just typically speaking, we see money get pulled out of investments that get negatively affected by war. Dow Jones, though, it'll have a dip, of course. There will be, whenever there's war, there's a little bit of panic. So we'll see a drop, but then it'll get built back again because the war machine is employed now. Again. Still. Anyway. So yeah, that's why. Midnight on the 4-hour chart also showing some signs. Higher highs, higher lows, outperforming the rest of crypto. This might very well be related to the announcement from Charles Hoskinson that Midnight Mainnet. Right now, the token is available. You can go and buy it. But the main net that is going to be used to privatize the parameters of smart contracts, that's only been in test phase so far. People are still building. But he announced last week that at the end of March, they would be live. They're going to be, the main net will be live, and now people will be able to transfer real assets on that network. Right now, everything is simulated just to make sure everything works. They test out different loads, and they just automatically issue coins. There's billions and billions of coins available for testing. And then once it goes live, that test net is still there for people that are developing and want to make sure that their system works without having to do real transactions. But then that main net is live and actually privatizing real world currencies, equity rather. They're actually privatizing the parameters of the contract starting at the end of March. So that could very well be why this is going up. At the same time, be mindful. SPX, their community has, it rises because simply the belief, right? So it's not much different. That's why I like to say, these are all just meme coins in the sense that it's a community of people coming together having a conversation about something that they're very passionate about. Bitcoin is also just a meme coin, technically, if you define it that way.
Define it what way?
As a community of people who are sharing and passionate about a specific conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing about the one thing that I'm contemplating more and more about currencies is that they are all of them. Doesn't matter whether they're backed by. Doesn't matter what they're backed by. I actually think they're backed by attention. Because everything that we have, the only thing we have is time. That's the only thing we actually possess, in the sense that we get to choose what happens with our time. So the way that we reflect our devotion of time is, where do we put our equity? So I see all of these simply being backed by attention. Think about it. The NFTs that I issue for people to access my website, it's just an attention token. It's a token that allows you to pay attention on the platform.
So what if you have ADHD?
Have lots of coins. Diversify, diversify, diversify. Follow all the rabbit holes and learn about them all. And you'll learn way more than anybody. I honestly think that, and I think this is a wisdom of just a global wisdom, the more mistakes you make, the more you learn. But you're not going to make mistakes if you're not grabbing the bat and going to the plate.
Yeah.
You might just strike out 5 times, but then you'll hit that home run and change the game.
I counted.
Plus, when you're in an alt season, let's just add it on to that. We're in alt season, folks. I showed you what happens with ADA when it recovers. 17x. You can lose a lot, and one win will more than pay for it. Especially if you diversify. You know, I think that if people don't want to diversify, they should just go with the main coins. If you go to Coin Market Cap at this point, because of the low that we're at, and remember, every time it goes lower, more money gets put into it. The market capitalization might be going down, but that's just people buying scared people's money. Smart people buying, like prudent money, buying scared money. So when you're looking at these coins, if you don't have, why does it keep going to my watch list? There we go. When you're if you're looking at getting into this and you don't want to go down all the rabbit holes and learn about all of these companies, I would just stick to the top 20. And I would say that amongst the top 20 right now, you're likely going to 10x just by chance, because they're all in the top 20 and they're positioned for this first phase of the bubble. You can throw darts at this board and be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm getting some Tron today. Oh, I guess I'm getting some Cardano today. Oh, you know what? I've never tried Hyperliquid. Let's try that one out. And you will win. The majority of them will win. When you get down into the lower ones, where your market capitalization starts dropping underneath 100 million, it's a different strategy. Now you got to do some research, because a lot of these here, these are just memes, and we have no idea what they're gonna. Pudgy penguins, like that's the name of the coin. Look, it's on Solana. Pudgy penguins. Meme coin. Market capitalization 411 million. But there's no way of knowing whether or not that's going to make it. Could totally flop. That's why, like, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, or Fetch is for short. I don't know what the F is for. But it's ranked 96th. It's 368 million. That's good. It's a good company. If it goes somewhere, it'll just be down, but it's not going to disappear. The DAOs that make up this alliance, most of them are led by people who've been researching and developing AI since the 80s, specifically for this renaissance, so that we aren't having to do the labor of the matrix, so that we can have the machine go and do that part of our lives, because it's an astronomical waste of time.
Now, when you talk about the lower ones, for instance, I'm looking at SPX. It's ranked 108th. Its market cap is just under 300 million. The difference is, like you said, it has a rabid community behind it. Is that correct?
That's right. And out of all of the meme coins, they have the largest percentage of holders with more than $1,000.
Yep.
Most of the people who are the actives within this community, they are all posting every single day. I bought another $100. I bought another $100, and I bought another $50. I'm fulfilling my goal of 30 days of DCAing into SPX 6900. And they do that because they know that by doing it, they are adding some more traction to the entire community. And they got it down. Like, you go and join one of their communities and they've got stuff for you to do. you can go and do things. And isn't it funny? It's like, what? That actually works? Yeah, look at how politicians do it. Join my party, and if you want to help, I'll give you a job. And then people sign up for these fancy little cards that make it legal for them to get signatures.
It's interesting that the 24-hour volume on SPX is down 41%.
Yeah, day over day. Very
That mean-
interesting.
That means people
that
aren't.
tells me.
That means people aren't
Go ahead.
getting out of it.
Yeah, they're holding on tight.
Hold on
If
tight.
there was high volume, there'd be a lot of the more trades there would be, then we would be able to see volatility. Okay, well, is it bullish or bearish? Well, look at that. Super bullish, even though it is in the decline. Rapid decline. But it's not continuing because that volume is dropping, because the people who have this coin, they don't wonder what it is. Most people who are getting into cryptos, oh my goodness. There's a gentleman that's been following me on like Substack, and I've had a few meetings with him. He was asking me just last week, well, what coins should I get? It's been 2 years, dude. We've had this chat. You should really do your own research, is what you should do. But that's the type of people who just get into an exchange and buy whatever the exchange markets them. Because you can bet your boots the exchanges are not carrying coins that they don't want to have lots of volume with. Because if the volume's down, they'll just drop the coin. That's what they did to 0x0. That's why the data on 0x0, even though CoinMarketCap shows it, none of the trading platforms do, because there's not an exchange that will carry it anymore.
Yeah.
So volume's down, and that may look like a negative thing, but the fact that the sentiment is still bullish tells us that the positions that people have are long. And if the volume's down, it means that nobody is wanting to sell. That's not on the market. If the volume was still high, we would probably see, like, that would mean there's people still thinking it's going to go down or up. But right now, it's straight up. People know it's going up. They don't have this wondering what it is, like the people who are at the exchange that are just scrolling through and be like, oh, Hedra, neat. XRP, oh, my coworker at the water cooler, he told me about that one. This community here, I'm convinced, is going to be leading the way in this next run, simply because they've been, yeah, you said rabid. It's a good term. Zealous. It's kind of like the little Jesus that I gave you. I've always thought to myself, I wonder if I should get 1 iota. Just because then I can say, I have 1 iota. I don't want to go through this without 1 iota. That would just be weird. And that, whoa, what network is that on? I'm not familiar with this one. Look at that contract address. What the heck is this? I'm not sure what network that is. It's a 0x. So let's go check it out. Is it its own contract? It might very well be. Basically saying the same thing as everybody else. Oh, but here we go. IOTA's public infrastructure and products work together in a real-world demo. Let's go see. Imagine a product traveling through its entire life cycle, from manufacturing to repairs, resale, and the recycling. How can we ensure data about the product is trustworthy, complete, and accessible? And it says I use the arrows. Today you'll see how IOTA makes this possible through hands-on digital product passport example. Reference only, not a fully functional or regulation compliant DPP application. It was built to showcase IOTA's components can power real-world use cases. Okay. Products move, data doesn't. Life cycle data often gets trapped in silos, lost along the product journey, or duplicated. Without incentives to share data, stakeholders hold onto information, creating gaps in trust, compliance, and sustainability. Introducing Digital Product Passport. DPP is a digital record that tracks a product throughout its entire life cycle from design to recycling. It's linked to a unique product ID, stores specifications, repairs, material data, compliance info, and more, and is soon to be required by EU regulation for many products. Transforms scattered data into trusted and permanent record. Key players. There's 12 slides. I don't know if I want to go through this. Key players: manufacturers, distributors, consumers, service providers, recyclers, extended producer responsibility organizations. Wow. They support manufacturers in end-of-life obligations. Oh, okay. So yeah, if you are, if it needs to be disposed of, how do you do it properly? Solving the data sharing problem. Lifecycle data is fragmented, rarely shared, making it hard to track. To solve this, each DPP can be pre-funded with lifecycle credits, tokens that reward verified data contributions and are redeemable for real-world value. Yeah, okay. So what that would be is like more nodes that are validating the data on that decentralized network increases the the more nodes there are, the more data is being processed, the more valuable the token is. A trusted digital backbone. IOTA provides the trusted digital backbone for use cases like digital product passports. At its core is a global public network where data is permanent, verifiable, and not controlled by any single company. Yay! The trust framework. Identity, notarization, tokenization, hierarchies. There's even a gas station. Gas meaning that's your transaction fees. Your mission in this demo is to take the role of a service provider in the ecosystem. Your job is to perform and document a maintenance event. In this demo, you will scan a product, review history, perform diagnostics, and receive lifecycle direction. There you have it. Install the IOTA browser wallet and connect when prompted. Make sure you're connected to the IOTA testnet. Nightly wallet is another way that you can connect. There you go. Both wallets must enable secure interaction with the demo without requiring any token balance. Yeah, because they're still in testnet. They said they're not in production yet. There you go. So that's what they're about. Not bad. That'll do well. At 110th, ranked 110th. Yep. All right. Well, that's market analysis. We have co-work up next. Any questions? Just double checking here. Awesome. I'll end the stream.